What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of, I guess, the Island Games recap. Not the Banter Zone, nothing else. It's the Island Games recap show. Thanks for tuning in for those that watched. Definitely exciting to get back into it. Obviously, I'm here with Harry and Dylan.
What's happening, everybody?
We want to get you guys more involved in commenting and talking with us and hopefully interacting with us a little bit more about what your thoughts are so far on the games. Harry, how can they reach out to us?
Seriously, if you don't want to talk to anybody after COVID, I don't understand who you are. So reach out to us. Drop us a line on Instagram. Follow us. Drop us a line on Twitter. And, of course, on YouTube. Give us all those likes and appreciate everybody that has watched so far. Drop us your comments. Let's talk.
Dylan, anything you want to add?
Well, we're going to be hopefully reading out some of them as well, so make sure you're loud and boisterous and tell Harry how wrong his predictions are, as per tradition.
You know what? My predictions weren't bad for this week.
They weren't out to lunch as expected. I know we didn't really. It was tough to predict these games that happened, especially like the Ottawa and the York game. The Pacific and Halifax are going to be tough ones to predict. I think the games of today we were probably a little bit more. We didn't give verbal predictions, but we kind of knew that. Had a feeling that the two top dogs in the CPL were gonna kind of fall right back into place where they left off last year. So you know what, we're gonna watch the highlights here while we get to this. So first match was obviously the kickoff to the CPL campaign for Ottawa,
which was
Atlético.
big. It was. We all anticipated and it finally happened. The anticipation was the hardest part of it all.
Yeah.
But I think we were able to get at least a snapshot of what they can offer.
Yeah, early on in the game, I kind of thought that, Ottawa looked really good, but obviously trying to find their feet. Like you had mentioned, not playing any matches. It's kind of a new game for them. They haven't played any meaningful minutes together. No pro games, and they said, 10 months since these guys have played games. So it was definitely up in the air. What were they going to do? Early on, Neufeld catches his first yellow card against York 9.
13th minute in.
Yeah, and that was believe he's the left back for Ottawa. And, York looked really good at times. Telfer is class. He really, once again, has shown that he is great. It's a great shot there from outside. But the Atlético keeper was definitely up for it. York definitely started pushing early on, and they were showing that, these guys are class, and I kind of almost thought that York was going to dominate a little bit more. They showed definitely signs of it, but then Ottawa kind of came out of nowhere. It was nice to see the one I got to give a shout out, Malik Hamilton, to see him play that many meaningful minutes. And you see he's a class player. Sometimes lacks in size, but he makes up for it in his skill and his ability, and he's a force down the right wing there for Ottawa.
I love their jerseys, by the way.
The black ones?
The black ones. They remind me of the old
sharp.
Vodafones from Manchester. Oh, goal. 47th minute.
And there's the first goal in Atlético Ottawa history.
From here, the floodgates basically open.
Ball from Ben Fisk, the one touch, chipped it over, and then it was...
That was beautiful.
Beautiful. It started from the middle of the field there. Ben Fisk, without even thinking twice. Nice little dink right over top. And then it was 2-on-1. Acuna across to Karuma, I believe it was again. Or no, it wasn't. That wasn't Karuma. It was Acuna on the ball with the pass over.
A lot of former Pacific boys getting on the score sheets this weekend.
Yeah.
But, quality from Ottawa at times. You saw a little bit of the chippiness. This one, I don't know about this one. This is, I think, where he got This is where he got his second card. So that was... That was a card to Neufeld for stepping in the way. Like, I get the foul, but I don't think it was malicious.
Assist on the first goal, get the first red card in history.
Might as
do
well
it right.
Do it all, and this is early on in the game too.
That was a beautiful ball as well, right there.
Yeah, great move. I don't know if that was Gasparotto down the side.
Just got a little touch on it, just enough.
But quality.
2-1 right now, 60th minute.
I mean, that's when they started to kind of open up here, and this was...
There's the pen, right?
A bit clumsy. To come in right from behind him. I mean, you're gonna get called on that all day long. But he did get the ball there in theory, but Di Chiara has been searching for fouls all game long. He was, and
found one.
found that one.
Yeah.
He was the one that got Neufeld red carded as well.
Oh, just right over.
Right up the middle. Not too
I
happy.
was just about to say that keeper's extremely happy right now.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, York had a good chunk of the second half, but I mean that red card really hurt Ottawa, right?
Yeah. You know, does the game end? Does it end do you know, does Ottawa continue to press on them if it wasn't for those...
Could this possibly be a good battle in the future, York 9 versus Ottawa?
I mean, I'd like to see what Ottawa does against a Cavalry or a Forge to really dictate how they're going to
kind
be.
of gauge how their
Because,
their
I mean,
gameplay will be.
Yeah, because they were, obviously, they were a talented side, but how do you fare up against the best of the best in the league?
That's also very true.
Exactly. And I think that, again, Ottawa, I think, is a bit hard done by that game because if it wasn't for the red, I think York was good at times, but I don't think they consistently, in that first half, played themselves into a winning position. And they were, you know, at the end, they had a pen and a red card. So
Yeah, moments of greatness, but not enough. I know there's been a lot of comments all over the place about the virtual stadium that they created. Granted, it is a new technology because they haven't used it very much.
yeah.
But at the same time, there's some things that I would I'd almost rather the tactical view with the commentary. I didn't mind Brendan Dunlop's commentary was pretty good, I found. A little less biased maybe because he doesn't know as much. He's a little bit more quiet. But get into the Halifax and Pacific game now. And that game, again, you know, hard to anticipate what was going to happen in it. Was it going to be a draw? Kind of a feeling out phase of some new faces. You know, Victor Blasco looked good. I wanted to see how he was going to match up with Bustos. Were they actually going to make a difference? Bustos definitely came out of the gates hot and was showing that, you know, he always does well in that stage, though. Bustos likes to be kind of the centerpiece. If he doesn't get it, he's not as good.
Collision here. Former Foothills player Corey Bent.
Yeah.
He was all over the pitch this game.
Yeah. Came out of the U Sport, out of the East Coast over there as well. But drawing the penalty, and Halifax converts early on, 12 minutes in.
Yeah.
And that seems to be the talking point of this tournament, isn't it? Just the sheer number of penalties. And obviously the play is going to be a bit sloppier due to the large break. But, I mean, every game there's been a spot kick, essentially. So
Yeah.
No, that's very true.
Yeah, Morelli with the goal. 1-0 early on, but you know, Pacific was not gonna sit around.
Just put that.
Couple
over.
chances. That was Terran Campbell. Based on what he did last year, you expected that.
it was going in, you think?
Yeah, because you know you're on turf. You're not gonna get the bobble. So I think it's just a little bit of jittery.
Is that
maybe.
Marcus Haber?
Yeah, just kicked it out of the virtual stadium. But yeah, that was a little bit wide from Blasco there, but
Yeah, you could tell from, in terms of highlights from this game, I think Pacific had a lot of the ball, but in terms of grade A chances, I don't know if they were there, right? I mean, they had a lot of chances such as these where they're near misses, but when you actually break down how close they were, I mean, they're still a ways off, right?
yeah, Blasco really made a presence. That's what Harry was commenting on. Blasco made a run up the left wing, just put it over just put it wide of the net on the far side. But a great run, great first touch. Blasco's class. I mean, he came out of, the second division in Spain or third division last year? But
off the bar as well.
Terran Campbell.
Just can't find the back of it.
Yeah, cheeky little chip here, goes up the top.
Nice.
Was that Verhoeven, I believe it was? Yeah, I don't know if that's Noah. I would get those two mixed up. There's Verhoeven and Verhoeven, and I know everyone talks about it, but there's a bit of confusion as to who is who.
It wasn't the prettiest goal, but
No.
the finish was
Definitely
quality after they actually got out of each
A
other's
lot of
way.
Halifax guys in the box kind of all standing there watching, and the ball kind of went right in between them.
Yeah.
But really nice to see guys like Corey Bent making it in. Corey Bent was a draft in the U Sport draft this year. I think he was a caper.
I believe he was a Cape Breton caper, if I remember correctly.
And
lots of good guys coming out of that program in
Really,
terms
really
of their men's soccer.
I think Shawla from Halifax is from over there as well, isn't he?
Yeah, I believe so.
Nice.
So sloppy,
Beautiful.
very
Sloppy, very sloppy. And I'll actually blame the keeper on that goal from Bustos right now. Like, I have no idea what he was thinking.
Well,
Like,
I mean,
fuck,
defender put him on side by how far, right?
Oh, I understood.
Yeah.
But if you're the keeper, when you're challenging, you're going for that full challenge. Looked like he let up just a wee bit there.
Yeah, he hesitated more than he should have on it, and it left Bustos alone in front to go ahead and do it. And here's so 2-1 at this point, and 84th minute, Halifax gets their second one. I would say that's a good
It's
call.
a good call.
Good call.
Yeah.
Unlucky again, because
Unlucky.
guys coming behind
And once
you.
again, another point that Dylan brought up. Another pen, another game.
Quality finish though on this one. Whew.
Yeah, top bins.
Probably
right
the
in
second
corner.
best pen we've seen so far.
Yeah, nice to see De Jong getting some minutes again, and
He's
actually
looking
playing.
a lot better than he did last season.
Well, he
I
can
guess
walk.
it's only game 1. What's that?
Yeah,
He
well,
can walk.
He can walk.
That's a
this year,
good
he
start.
could. But yeah,
How many games did he make it in last season? 2 or was it 3 and that was it?
Nah, he got injured in preseason, and I think he got in at the end of the year.
Yeah,
He
I
played
think
2
maybe
maybe.
1 or 2.
Yeah, but I think there were even like portions of games. I don't think he saw 90 minutes.
yeah.
I would be hard pressed to think if he actually got 90 minutes entirely last year.
Different looking Pacific team though.
Yeah, they looked a lot better. I think a lot more promising.
They look more dangerous for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I think the offense was clicking better because I think they had the weapons last year, but I don't know if it was poor implementation or it just was sort of a personality clash. But I feel like they definitely had the ability, and this year we're starting to see more glimpses, which perhaps they click. And Harry, your prediction's right. They finish in the top 4.
That's what I'm hoping for. I've been pushing for Pacific since last season. And I'm hoping for this season. And I'm trying to double up on this one. They didn't do it for me last season, they'll do it for me this season. And if they don't, well, I'll punt them to the curb for next season. It's still early enough for me to freaking bandwagon jump.
Yeah,
So,
I think with the difference maker big time you see from the beginning, Pama Duka, the coach, he's a little bit more pedigree. I feel he's a little bit more reserved and calm. He seems like he's getting more out of his guys. He seems like more of a man coach, and
I think that's what you need at this level when you don't have, perhaps the top talent. And Pacific's a very young team, so you have to be developing those guys properly.
Yeah.
so what do we got here? We got the Cavs Valour game.
Yeah.
Earlier
today, this one on the Sunday, the first of the Sunday games. But I went into it kind of thinking that I wasn't going to expect an 8-0 bashing like last time, but I kind of anticipated it. I don't know. I thought
higher
Valour was going to
scoring?
dominate. I didn't think Valour was going to do too much because, they got some new players. I think they had, I don't know if there was 10 new players that they had on their roster.
Faber, first goal as a Cavs player.
Marcus
28th minute in.
Yeah.
It was
What a
beautiful.
ball. Look at
Great
the
looking ball. Just had to put a little touch on that. Look at that.
That's it.
He's already
Put the
one-third
body on John Baptiste and then scored the goal.
1/3 of his way to his goal tally last year.
Yeah.
Already. So not a bad start. And we got to talk about man of the match, Mo Farsi here, blowing down the left side, left Sabara down in his dust for a minute there. But just good heads up play. He has that bit of, he played in the futsal side, so that's where he gets that nice clean touch that's indoors. And this is where he created the penalty there. Sergio Camargo plays it to Nico Pasquati, hits it off a handball, and
And Sergio's up to
Oh, this is
take the cake.
the birthday boy.
Yeah. Happy birthday, by the way.
this is pure cheeky. I mean, the group chat was buzzing after this.
Panenka. Like, what?
Behave
Cheeky Ray.
yourself. It's game 2.
Hey, but happy birthday. Deserved it. You're going to get away
Beautiful
with
little chip.
Oh,
Look at
Dirty little Panenka.
that. No.
Beautiful. The keeper knew before he even came out his foot that it was like, oh no. But then there was moments where Valour looked okay, but I feel like they didn't adapt to Cavalry's playing style at all. They kept trying to do what they were doing.
Yeah.
They weren't trying. They were just sitting back. I felt like on the defensive side they were kind of lacking in their bit of communication. Like that moment there, you see. I mean, Cavalry kind of really bring it to them with a high press, and it was making things difficult for Valour all game long. They were kind of like they were having troubles finding their identity on the field more than anything. But game 1, right?
And also a lot of new faces in there too, right?
Yeah,
But
that one was unfortunate. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. I think with Valour, they're going to have to keep throwing enough against the wall to see what sticks, because I think their identity is still all over the place. And obviously injuries such as the calf strain that they suffered multiple players in this game. I think they're going to have a chance to see a lot of guys.
Yeah, I think that Bakamutu, when he went down there, he pulled up on his hamstring. I didn't hear what happened afterwards, if it was actually, but this one, you'd be happy. Peppo got in about 25 minutes into the game today. Obviously, you see the kid, like, his excitement sometimes got the best of him in moments where he's kind of run ahead of the ball, but it's his sheer power and strength that he's just, once his brain develops to where his body can operate, like, he's an 18-year-old kid.
I was pushing for Val in this game, just Rob Gale. I just want to see him do better. I have faith in him. He's one of my guys or one of the coaches of the year. Well, not coach of the year, but most improved coach of the year. He'll be the person. He struggled last year. I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah, and that was, I think it was lack of leadership in the bench as well that hurt him, right? And now he's got that with Fraser Aird, and you got Fordyce, and also
those players make a huge difference. They're able to not only impact the bench, they're able to impact everybody in the locker room.
Yeah, Brett Levy's the other one. Like, those are all, and Levy's hometown, Winnipeg boy. So those are the guys that make a difference for you.
But I think Tommy went very conservative this game. I think they really could have took it to them a bit more, but I think Tommy's thinking a couple moves ahead here because, with so many games coming so quick,
you don't want to
be overexerting guys. I mean, there's 5 different players.
There's no point in putting the boot to the neck right now. Like,
you don't need to. Keep your goal.
Do your job. Keep pushing forward.
Yeah. El Clasico next as well for them, so that's going to be a big.
That'll be a big one. Yes.
Clean sheets win championships, right? So that was a big one. 2-0 wasn't obviously they didn't take it as didn't give it to him as hard as they could have, I think.
Forge Edmonton here.
Yeah, good game from the beginning. I thought Edmonton right out of the gates came at him. Forge obviously having a game in, they're a little bit more settled in their play. Not to take anything away from FC Edmonton, but
jeez, that was beautiful.
Kwame Awu's goal. That's a hats off almost to that one. That's a contender for a goal of the tournament already.
And
probably 30
with the other Forge goals that they've scored so far, they've all been worldies. Yeah, 30 plus yards out, just puts it top corner, and it looked like that's exactly where he was going. Zetterberg looked really, really good. I was impressed with his play out of Edmonton. Edmonton's backline's solid. Like, they have probably one of the best. Their problem today was, Isnangar, where was he? He didn't. Yeah,
didn't quite.
Poor day offensively, and I think that's something that it's kind of funny because they've struggled to score goals. I don't think in the 50% of their games they've existed in the CPL they've scored any goals.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Mir Didic on that one hits it off the outside of the post off of a free kick.
This whole team right now just can't find just that perfect amount right now. Yeah. Just put it one in.
Yeah. Kind of felt bad for them at times because Edmonton looked good. They dominated in the first half shots. Possession was close. It wasn't a runaway.
Faces with Edmonton, a few faces gone. Change the squad up a little bit now for this year.
Let's see, another good opportunity there. This was on Garo's, one of his first shots that he had, I believe, but just missed on the wide side.
Right there.
Henry looked like he might have had it covered, but it was going to make him work for it. Kyle Becker just showing his class, dominating. It's like the team. I wonder if it's that. Get on Becker, and he bottled that one a little bit, but Becker's the guy that he dictates the play moving forward and what happens with that team, and he does it so well. Like, you see the difference, like not having guys like...
It's Becker's team. It's built around him 100%.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I think that when it comes to Forge, right, like...
But all the positives that he's putting in, he's creating the plays, he's out there getting dirty. And of course, I'm not saying he's holding the team on his back, but he's helping, I guess, the opportunities to arise during these games. So
yeah, Didic going down in the second half, about midway. That one's not one you want to see.
Jeez.
Yeah, Kareem Moses just puts it off the bar there, off of another free kick, but just goes wide. There's a shout for a handball there. I didn't see the replay enough to see whether it was or not, but Moses just dings it off the bar. He looked like it was a bit of an open header. That one should have been inside it, I feel.
They can't buy one at this point.
No, it's just unlucky, right? Unlucky with the finish.
There was a little bit of an issue back there on the right-hand side. Defenders coughed that one out.
Oh, wow. Forge just goes across the goal mouth there and can't put it away, but... Oh, that's Sabak. Sabak's actually looked really, really good for Forge as well. And that
His last game, he looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Had a lot of anger at him the first little bit of the first game, but I guess
this game was a bit chippy as well. There was moments where I think it was this free kick that it happened. It was Cisse got piled into. But Cisse, I really like his style of play.
Jeez, that was beautiful though.
Yeah. Was that a bit of an own goal or was that off an
It was
own back?
indeed called an own
it
goal.
was.
An own goal.
Unfortunately.
Is that Kareem Moses?
I believe so.
So missed the header on his own
Scored
side.
a header.
And then scored a header. Just too bad it was on his own net.
I mean, I think Forge came into this like playing their bogey team as FC Edmonton, but I think they handled it really well, and I think it's a testament to how deep this team is. But I think similar to Cavs, I think they were playing conservative almost to try to reserve fuel in the tank, so to speak.
2 games in 3 days, tough no matter what.
Yeah.
Mid-season, late season, but to start off the tournament, the season, that way's tough, right? So
Forge,
unlucky
once
for
again, we all knew that they would take this game. I was hoping Edmonton would, but
yeah, I was kind of hoping. I kind of wanted. I anticipated a bit of that it was going to be a draw. That's where I was leaning to, but obviously not always the case. But I mean, thoughts on the first round of the Island Games?
first week of the Island Games, it was interesting. You know, it was exciting in the beginning. Footy was back. You know, CPL's back. They've done something, and I'm glad. You know, the times have changed. So I know these were supposed to be afternoon games, most of them. Now we're getting the evening. So it is a big plus and a big win on the West Coast here, and it creates a lot more energy, and it's good to see. You can see it everywhere. It's all over Twitter. It's all over Instagram. People are posting. I'm happy it's back, but the first week was great. We saw everybody make a few touches on all the balls, and you know, it's given us an insight to what to expect and possibly what teams may stray the wrong way. But we'll find out.
See, I mean, early to tell right now, but there from your opinion, are Cavalry, because let's face it, last year there was a gap between 2 and 3 that was big.
Correct.
Is the gap closed? Has the gap been closed down, or is it?
I think it's too early to tell if the gap's going to be closed down. It's too early. I say by week 3 we'll probably have a better understanding of not only each team, but what each player is capable of doing to win those games for those teams.
Dylan, thoughts on the first week?
I mean, it can only go up from here, hopefully. And I think the level of play was quite good considering the break. But also, you know, there was times where we look a little bit at that Pacific Halifax game, for example, and you're like, you know, Hart's team probably would want a little bit more defensive stability, which is something that they struggled with a bit last year too. So there's kind of these question marks that are like, is this the same Valour team? Like new faces, but where are they going? Because it's also tough to gauge because Cavalry was playing their second game. But I think in terms of week 2, that's when we're really going to start seeing a little bit more questions answered, because with this being essentially a condensed season, even more so than the spring last year. I mean, you get hot at the right time, right? And I think the only team that I've seen that's been for sure dominant would be, I would argue, Forge. Because even at times in that Valour game,
I'm not going to disagree with you.
Cavalry looked a little bit, I wouldn't say questionable, but they had a hard time breaking down Forge to begin with. I don't know if that was Tommy overthinking it or what, but I think that they were feeling out the Valour team more than they typically do. And in terms of dominance, I'd say Forge had a good grasp on the FC Edmonton game. I mean, you could argue FC Edmonton was unlucky with a lot of their chances, but I mean, I think Forge is a team that could go all the way again. And I think a lot of people don't want to hear that. A lot of people want to buy into the hype of Atlético Ottawa and York's revamped and Pacific's revamped and Forge's revamped, but I really do think that we could be seeing Forge separate maybe week 3 or 4, but too early to tell. I agree with Harry. El Clasico next week will be interesting.
I can't wait for that.
To see what Jeff Paulus has up his sleeve, because they need something. And when's a better time to do it than against the team that's been your absolute nightmare all of last season?
Yeah, no, I'd have to agree. It's hard to say. I still feel that based off what we saw early, if we want to throw an early prediction out, that it's going to be a Cavalry Forge final again. They both look like they're ahead of the pack right out of the gates. I mean, you see Forge playing a hard game. Does that make a difference? Was it a difference because Cavalry playing, Valour and taking it a bit easy because they can, whereas Forge can't take it that easy on Edmonton? And you know that Cavalry and Forge against each other when they played in game one, they were going to go at each other as hard as they possibly could. So yeah, I think it's hard to really make a prediction, but I'm not overly convinced that the gap has been closed based off what we saw in one game. I don't see any major changes. Those games will come into fruition, and when you see a Pacific Cavalry, when you see a York Forge game, how are those games going to turn out? Ottawa, I think the true test will be how good is Ottawa once they play Forge and Cavalry. If they come into the game and all of a sudden it's a 1-1, 2-2 games, it's like, okay, Ottawa's in that conversation now. But if they're 2-0, then it's okay, well, no, Ottawa's fallen into that pack, and there's that distinction now, so it's the top two and the sixth bottom, almost fighting for third and fourth.
I think one of the biggest things will be for every team moving forward. I guess it's still early, but injuries. Yeah. It could just take one player, for example. I'm not saying Forge is not deep, but with the players they currently have on the pitch, they are deep. And if they lose one of those pieces, what's going to happen, right? Yeah. I'm not saying something will. That's for everybody right now. Mm-hmm. So everybody's still feeling themselves out, but it's a one injury away from changing the whole dynamic of any team right now.
Yeah, and then even when you get into the later stages, like we talk about the CPL last season, and Cavs were miles above the rest, but then they get into that final and they lose, right? So I think when buying a ticket to get to the Final Four, I think is just all these teams need to focus on, because when you get there, anything can happen at that point. If last year was anything to go off of, right?
Yeah, 100%. So this week, games start on Tuesday. We got Pacific and York FC. That game,
Pacific York?
Yeah. I think it's going to, I'm going to see a draw to that game, I think.
I see a draw, but I'm going to say like one apiece though.
Yeah. I'd say break the 2-2 deadlocks that we've been having.
Like if I see any more of that, if I see, I'm going to question myself, but I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game at all.
No. It'll be tight, but there'll be a goal or two. Mm-hmm. It'll be a bit chippy, I think, in moments, because it's just, I feel like those two teams they got something to prove big time.
Yeah. And if they're going to do it, they're going to do it against each other.
Dylan, agreements, disagree?
I'd say 1-0, and I think it's going to be like a late set piece or something like that. I don't know if it's a pen. Perhaps it seems to be the good thing to bet on right now.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be 1-0, and I'm going to go with York in that one, because I feel like York is definitely going to take more out of that game against Ottawa and feel like they can build on it, I feel like, than Pacific, where I feel like Pacific is looking a little bit more flat coming out of the gate.
Yeah, so this just in, I didn't see this, but looks like all of the games on the Cavalry schedule, all the CanPL games have changed. So that game that was scheduled for, they've moved all the games to the evening, which is great. So
they've got the lights figured out, and we're good to actually stay up and watch.
Yeah, we're actually be able to watch it at decent times. I know that game was going to be an early one. The El Clasico was supposed to be a noon game, original schedule, but it looks like everything has been changed. It hasn't been updated on Footmob, but we got it on. So Pacific and York was supposed to be 11. It's now 8 p.m. Eastern time. So that is a 9 p.m. kickoff for them in Charlottetown.
I'll be interested.
Hey, at least it's going to be cooler. I mean, you got to take that into consideration.
That's also very true. It will be cooler.
It's so hot out there right now. You see, after the first game, there was a lot of damp jerseys you were alluding to, Harry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Straight body gloves.
Yeah. Right. Wednesday games, you got Atlético Ottawa will face Valour FC.
Go for it.
That one is, for me, that's an up in the air. This is going to dictate where Ottawa is, I feel. This is one of the tells. If Ottawa competes and battles it out the entire 90 with, maybe they're not up to par. I don't know.
It's a tough one. I'm excited for this. This prediction is going to be a very tough one. I'm not even going to make one. I'm just excited to see that game.
You're not going to make a prediction?
No, I can't.
I don't know what that one either. I don't know if I want to make one either because I don't know.
Yeah.
What are your guys' thoughts on that? Is Ottawa and Valour, are they gonna, can you predict anything on that one? I think that's gonna be another tell for Ottawa because that's just should be a game that I don't know. You don't even know what to say.
I don't.
No.
It's tough.
So
we saw
Ottawa
them play once. They played York 9. Didn't do bad. They didn't do great.
Ottawa Valour, both teams have something to prove. So who's gonna be the one? I don't know. And then following the second game of the day for that one is going to be the Halifax Wanderers versus Forge FC.
Well, as everybody should assume, and if Pacific doesn't, or was it the Wanderers? Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. If the Wanderers come out and play the same game they played now, they may have a fighting chance. But if they don't come out the same way and bring it a bit more, I don't think they're going to make it over the hump. They may actually lose that game hard.
They need to tighten up.
They
need to tighten up.
Especially against a team like Forge.
Yeah, because Forge isn't Pacific.
Yeah.
Forge doesn't have a guy that's about to sky it off the penalty spot like Taryn Campbell did. And albeit that's their first game, but Forge is honed in now. They've played 2. They're going to be coming in for their 3rd. So if you're not careful, like Harry, you're not wrong. I think it could get ugly. But I think Halifax loses its big home advantage that they always seem to have. Like, teams hated going and playing at Halifax, but now everyone's on the same level, right?
No home field advantage.
Yeah.
No.
The game to watch of the week, I would have to say, is this one. Obviously the El Clasico.
El Clasico all day. How do you say no? There was bad blood last year on both sides. It was a loud conversation everywhere online. Once again, let us know what your thoughts are as well. I believe Cavalry are going to pick up from where they did last season. They're going to take FC Edmonton down.
Ain't gonna make it hard. Yeah, I kind of gotta agree with you. I think they're gonna make it hard for Edmonton to jump out of that bin that Cavalry put them in last year. I think it's gonna be hard. I'd like to see Edmonton do well, but
for the sake of the rivalry.
Yeah, but today they didn't really prove anything yet. Today they haven't.
Yeah.
I mean, this could be a different game against Cavalry, but
I think if they open the scoring, it'll be a different story because in all of the games against Cavs last year, there might have been one towards the end of the season where they had the lead for a good chunk of it, but they were chasing the Cavs the whole time, and I mean, they didn't score a goal till I think the last game of the season against Cavalry, which Cavs still won, but like, it's tough. I really do feel like that Edmonton team is a bit snake bitten right now, and I would hope the Eddies keep it close, but I mean, Cavalry's been on a roll.
Yeah, not a bad start for the two teams. So 2 teams we'd expected sitting on top. Both of them with the same goal differential. 2 conceded in the first game, and then they scored 2 on their second game. So kind of picking up where we left off last year, it seems the way. So, but I guess thoughts. Are you guys happy to see it? Are any surprises yet as of first week? But next week's, going to be a good one as well to watch. So Thursday night, we're probably going to shoot another one of these after the Cavalry, after the El Clasico, and then we'll get back out to you guys on Friday for comments. But like we said before, comment. Let us know what your thoughts are. Anything you want to add into it that you want to see.
Throw it everywhere. Instagram, Twitter.
On YouTube, where this video will be. But let us know. Anything else you guys want to add to it?
I just wanted to ask quickly, who is your performer of the week out of all the matches that you saw?
Team or player?
Player.
That's
Performer of the week. I'm going to have to say, from what I saw in the first 2 games for them, Kyle Becker has been the performer so far. Composure. That going, I can take it back to what Harry said. If it takes an injury for a team to kind of get derailed in a tournament like this, is Forge the same team without Becker? He is a calming presence, I feel. He dictates the play really well for them. The team moves forward when he says they move forward. They stay back when he says they stay back. Kyle Becker, I got to go with the performer so far.
Fair enough. I would just want to give a quick shout out to Lowell Wright, who scored at 16 years old, making him the youngest CPL player for York 9 in their draw against Atlético Ottawa. So buried a bit underneath the hype around Atlético Ottawa, but I mean, who knows, man? Like, they got to get these U21 minutes, but another Fonzie, perhaps, Another 8-2 drubbing of Barcelona in the future at the hands of a Canadian.
Producer Sebastian wanted us to make fun of the fact that he likes Barca and they lost 8-2, so we'll touch on that as well. It was embarrassing. I'm not a Barca fan, so watching Barca get absolutely destroyed, dismantled.
Creamed.
Any other words you'd like to add to it? Or?
Any other... do we bring out the thesaurus?
If you want to hear what I got to say, I'm disappointed that this...
2 hours later.
He's going to need to win something in another country.
So why is he going
Before
to
he
City?
comes.
Because he has to win it. Because City will compete. City's got the money to spend, that's why.
City's always had the money to spend,
Yeah.
even to get themselves out of trouble.
Yeah.
But hey, we'll save that for a different
Yeah,
conversation.
so, sorry if you're a Barca fan. That's shitty. But,
Stay tuned for future banter zones.
yeah. But on that note, I guess, thanks for tuning in. Any comments, like we said, comment, share, let us know. And we'll touch on them and add throw your comments into the next episode. But until then, thanks for tuning in. And enjoy your week.